Dear students of standard 11, in the previous video we have studied about the root system, shoot system and little portion about the leaves. As a continuation of the leaf details, we are going to study about the types of venation. Now venation means it is the arrangement of midrib and also the veins in the lamina. See, that meaning is given here. It is the arrangement of midrib. If you take the lamina, the green flattened part of the leaf, at the center of the leaf, from the stalk of the leaf to the tip, a thick line will be running. It is midrib. Only one midrib will be present. And veins, a number of branches, thin branches will be there. They are called veins in the lamina of the leaf. So venation is the arrangement of veins and midrib in the lamina. There are different types of venations. The first one is reticulate venation. Already you know the meaning for venation. It is the arrangement of midrib and veins. Reticulate. There is a term called reticulum. Reticulum means network. The veins are arranged in the form of irregular network. That is called a reticulate venation. That is in the lamina. How the branches are there, how they are arranged. They are all interjoining with each other. It is very difficult to trace the arrangement of veins. That is called a reticulate venation. Normally, the reticulate venation is seen in the dicot plants. Already I told you what are dicot. The plants are producing seeds, but in each seed, two cotyledons will be present. Two cotyledons are storing food material. So such seeds are called dicot seeds. The plants which are producing such seeds are called dicot plants. So the reticulate venation is always seen only in dicot plants. Now the reticulate venations are of two types: pinnately reticulate venation, palmately reticulate venation. I already told you P-A-L-M, but we have to pronounce it as palm. That is palm and the fingers of our hand, like palmately. So what is the meaning of pinnately reticulate venation? Now I will take this. Now example, ficus. Don't think that only ficus is there. There are so many trees, so many plants which are having this pinnately reticulate venation. Now this is the stalk of the leaf, petiole. This is the lamina. Lamina is the green flattened portion. It is completely green. Now as I told, this is a thick line which is passing at the center of the lamina. It is called midrib. There are so many veins which are coming from the midrib. Now on both the sides, so many veins are coming. Now one small portion they are taking. Now each vein is further divided into a number of branches. Now here you can see that a number of branches. So the branches of this vein and the branches of this vein, they are joining with each other, forming a network. Now if the veins are arranged in the form of a network, it is called a pinnately, it is reticulate venation. Then what is the meaning of pinnately? The main veins are arising on either side of the midrib. The main veins are arising on either side of the midrib. If the veins are arranged on either side, it is called a pinnately. So pinnately reticulate venation. Now we are coming to palmately reticulate venation. What is the meaning of palmately? Now we are taking our hand. Now in the hand, this is the palm. Palm is the common area. From the common area, all the fingers are arising. Similarly, the veins are arranged like this. Now this is the lamina. Okay, in this lamina, this is the stalk of the leaf. Now here the lamina is there. Now at the center, midrib is present. Okay, that is a midrib. But all the main veins are arising from the base of the lamina. You see that? Here you can find a long vein, here one long vein, here like that. Many long veins are running from the or arising from the base going up to the tip. So that is palmately. Okay. Then what is the meaning of convergent? We have to see that. Now so actually palmately means that is midrib is there. All the veins are arising from the common area, that is base of the lamina. That is like palm and fingers. That is called the palmately reticulate venation. Now convergent means all the veins are arising from the base, they are running in the broad lamina, but near the tip they are converging. They are converging means they are coming closer to each other. That is called a convergent. So convergent palmately. But if you take the veins which are coming from the base to the tip, they are divided into a number of branches forming a network everywhere. Not only in this area, everywhere it is like that. That is one small portion, they are telling that reticulum. So it is called a convergent palmately reticulate venation. So convergent, palmately reticulate venation. Now we are coming to divergent. In the name itself we can understand. Anything which is going away is called a divergence. Now divergent. Now we are taking, this is the petiole. This is the lamina. A broad lamina is there with some lobes. You can find some lobes will be here. Now this is the midrib which is running at the center. It is running at the center, midrib. Then a number of veins are arising. All the veins are arising from the base of the lamina, just like that. But all the veins are going away from each other. The tip of the veins are going away from each other. So if the tip of the veins are going away from each other, then it is called a divergent. So divergent, palmately reticulate venation. Here also the branches are making a network, irregular network. So it is a divergent, because they are going away from each other, arising from the common place. So that it is called a palmately reticulate venation. Now these are the different types of reticulate venations are found. Now we are coming to parallel venation. Now in the name itself we can understand parallel. Now here also the lamina is having midrib, but all the veins are more or less thicker like midrib, but they are running more or less parallel to each other in maximum region of the lamina, that is called a parallel venation. So if the veins are running parallel to each other, then it is called a parallel venation. All monocot plants are having this parallel venation. All monocot. What is the meaning of monocot? Seed, monocot plant. Already I told. The plants are producing seeds, but the seed is having only one cotyledon to store the food material. That is called a monocot. So monocot plants. Parallel venation is always seen only in monocot plants. The parallel venations are also two types, just like previous one. Pinnately parallel venation, palmately parallel venation. Same terms but applied for parallel venation. Now we are taking pinnately. I already told you the veins are arising on either side of the midrib. That is called a pinnate. Now I am taking one leaf, canna, leaf of canna. Now stalk of the leaf is there. Now stalk means petiole is there. This is the lamina. Okay, the green flattened part is called a lamina. Here the midrib is present. Okay, the central midrib. Now all the veins are running parallel to each other on either side of the midrib. If the veins are arising on either side of the midrib, then it is called what? Pinnate. Okay, pinnate. So pinnately parallel venation. Now see, this is one vein. Now this is also another one vein. Next vein. Now they are running parallel to each other. They will never touch each other. They will never touch. That is called a pinnately parallel venation. Now we are coming to palmately. I already told you palmately means the arrangement of the veins will be like palm and finger. All the veins are arising from a common region. That is called. In that convergent. Convergent means the tip of the veins are coming closer to each other. But they are not touching. But they are coming closer to each other. Convergent. Now you take this, that is a leaf. Leaf of bamboo. Now only the lamina we are taking. Now in the lamina, at the center, midrib is there. But all the veins are equally thicker. Like midrib, all the veins are equally thicker. Now all the veins are starting from the base of the lamina. That is called a palmate. Okay, base of the lamina. Then they are running parallel to each other. They are not touching each other. They are running parallel to each other. But near the tip where the leaf is pointed, there all the veins are coming closer to each other. All the veins are coming closer to each other. That is called a convergent. They are coming closer to each other. Palmately, they are arising from the base of the lamina. All the veins are running parallel. So convergent, palmately, parallel venation. Now we are coming to divergent. Now in the previous one I told you, divergent means all the veins are going away from each other. They will never come closer. That is called a divergent. Now this is the leaf of palm tree. One more is there, fan palm. Even in our school at the higher secondary division regions, you can see this fan palm. A big leaf will be present in the plant. So this is one leaf. This is the stalk of the leaf, petiole. Now this is the leaf. Very big leaf is a present, lamina. Now a number of veins are arising, maybe 50, 60, 70 veins will be arising. All the veins are arising from the base of the lamina. They are running like this. They are running parallel to each other. Okay, no doubt. They are running parallel to each other. Now all the veins are running parallel to each other, so parallel venation. They are arising from the common area, so that it is called palmately. but the tip of the veins are going away from each other. They are not converging towards the center. So since the tip of the veins are going away, it is called a divergent. So divergent, palmately parallel venation. Example for this is fan palm. Another one example is palm tree, ordinary palm tree. Now we are coming to phyllotaxy. Now so far we have studied about the leaf. With this only one leaf, what are the parts are there, what is the venation, everything. Now we are going to study about phyllotaxy. What is the meaning of phyllotaxy? Now the meaning I am going to give, mode of, that is method of, okay, mode of arrangement of leaves on the stem. The leaves are always arising from the stem. They are arising from the node of the stem. Okay, now how the arrangement of leaves will be there on the stem, that we have to see. For example, you are seeing one plant, one small branch you are cutting, one small stem branch, but leaves will be there. Whether the leaves are on both the sides or one side, how the leaf is there, how they are arranged, that arrangement what we are studying is called phyllotaxy. So phyllotaxy is the mode of arrangement of leaves on the stem. Okay, that meaning for that, how the term is derived, phylon, one term is there, phylon. Okay, phylon. Phylon means leaf. There is a petiole, okay, leaf base, lamina, everything, leaf. Then the second one is a taxi, came from taxis. Taxis means arrangement. Arrangement of leaf. That is actually the meaning for this phylon and taxis, phyllotaxy. Now, why the phyllotaxy is there? Why the leaves are arranged in a special manner? We have to see. To avoid overcrowding. Now, if the arrangement is not proper, all the leaves will be overcrowded. If the leaves are overcrowded, the sunlight will not fall on all the leaves. Only some leaves will get sunlight, others will not get. So that is called overcrowding. But here, the phyllotaxy is to avoid overcrowding. That means what? Overcrowding will not be there. All the leaves are arranged so that they are exposed to the sunlight. Overcrowding of the leaves. To avoid the overcrowding of the leaves. To expose the leaves maximum to sunlight. That means what? When the arrangement is proper, all the leaves are maximum exposed to sunlight. So if the sunlight is available more, the plants, the leaves can prepare more food, that is starch. The next one, what are the different types of phyllotaxis are there? Alternate phyllotaxy, opposite phyllotaxy, ternate, T-E or N-A-T-A, ternate phyllotaxy and world phyllotaxy are the four types. Now we are going to study in detail about the four types of arrangement of leaves, that is phyllotaxy. Now we are going to study about the types of phyllotaxy. Just now I told you four types. Okay, alternate, opposite, ternate, world phyllotaxy. Now all the four we are going to study here. Now first one I am going to take alternate phyllotaxy. What is this alternate? In the name itself we can do something alternating with each other. Now this is the main stem. Assume like this. This is the main stem. One portion of the stem I am taking. Here one node is there. Here one node. Next node. Like that. The nodes are arranged opposite to each other. Alternatively they have to say. So this node is bearing one leaf. Now this is one leaf. So one node is bearing only one leaf. That is the first condition. In the alternate phyllotaxy, one node is bearing only one leaf. The next one is the leaves are arranged alternatively in the successive nodes. Successive means next to next nodes. In the successive nodes, the leaves are arranged alternatively. That is called alternate phyllotaxy. For example, see the picture, one leaf is on this side. In the next node, the leaf is on this side. Again, in the next node, the leaf is on this. So like that, alternatively they are arranged. This is called alternate phyllotaxy. Example for this is Polyalthia, Ashoka tree. In our school campus, Ashoka tree is there. If you want, you can go and see that. Alternate phyllotaxy, example, Polyalthia. Next, we are coming to opposite phyllotaxy. Now, I am going to give one condition for opposite phyllotaxy. Now, here also the stem is there. One node you are taking. Each node is bearing two leaves. But in the previous one, alternate phyllotaxy, one node is bearing only one leaf. But here, if you take one node, it is having two leaves. The two leaves are arranged opposite to each other. If one leaf is facing on this direction, the other leaf will be facing opposite direction. That is called opposite phyllotaxy. So in the opposite phyllotaxy, there are two types. Okay, one is called a superposed opposite phyllotaxy. Example, guava. Okay, even the guava sapling, everything is there at the back side. You can see that guava. Now how this superposed, what is the meaning of superposed? Opposite I told you. One is, one node is bearing two leaves. The two leaves are not present in the same direction, opposite direction. What is the meaning of superposed? Now you are taking this main stem in Goa. Now a number of nodes are there, one above the other. Now these are all the nodes. Now each node is bearing two leaves. Now the two leaves are arranged here. Even in the next node, the two leaves are present on the same position. Now these two, above that the two will be there. They will not facing any other direction, above the two. The next node, if you take, again a pair of leaves are above that, the second pair, like that, keep on that. So what will happen? All the paired leaves are arranged one above the other. That is called superposed. Superposed means kept one above the other. That is actually opposite superposed phyllotaxy. Now the next one we are coming to opposite decussate. What is the meaning of decussate? We have to know. Opposite I told you, each node is bearing two leaves. Now decussate, the paired leaves are always lying at right angle to each other in the successive nodes. Now I am taking here, the best example is Calotropis. Okay, Calotropis. Another one is also that, Datura, if you see that. Now if you take this, this is a stem. Now the first leaf, one pair of leaf I am taking, node, first node, two leaves are there. One is facing front, one is at the back of the stem. Now this is the stem, one is facing you, another one is facing me. Okay, these two leaves. But in the next node, if you take two leaves are there, they are arranged opposite to the first pair. Now first pair from you and me, one angle. But in the next one is for me right, another one is from left. So they are arranged opposite. So first pair and the second pair, if you take, the leaves are arranged opposite to each other, at right angle to each other. That is called opposite decussate. Decussate means at right angle to each other. Example, Calotropis. So in opposite itself, two types are there, superposed and decussate. Now we are coming to ternate phyllotaxy. Ternate means the condition is each node is bearing three leaves. That is condition, ternate. Ternate means three. Now this is one node. In this node, three leaves are there. 1, 2, 3. They are arranged equally around the node. Equally around, at equal distance. Now this is one. Even in the next node also, three leaves will be there. 1, 2, front one. Like that, three leaves will be present. That is called a ternate phyllotaxy. Example, Nerium. Then last one is called world phyllotaxy. World phyllotaxy means many leaves are arranged circularly around each node. Now this is one node. This is a stem. One node is there. Around the node, all around the node, a number of leaves will be there. In the picture only 4 will be there. Don't think that only 4. It may be 5, 6, 7. Now depends upon the plant. Now all the 5 or 6 leaves are arranged circularly around the node. That is called world phyllotaxy. Okay. The example for this is Alamanda. Now like that, many leaves will be there in every node of 4. If one node is having 5, all the nodes will be having 5 leaves. If one node is having 6 leaves, all the nodes will be having the same number, 6. So that is, many leaves will be there in each node. They are arranged in a circular way around the node. That is called the world phyllotaxy. Now we are coming to types of leaves. What are the various types of leaves are there? We have to see types of leaves. Now the first one is a simple leaf. The first one is called a simple leaf. I will come to the second group, compound leaf, later. Now what is a simple leaf? We have to see. Now petiole. You know what is the meaning of petiole? Petiole is the stalk of the leaf. Okay, the petiole is bearing single large lamina. For example, hibiscus. Okay, it is present in our campus. A lot of plants are having. The one stalk will be there. The stalk is bearing only single green flattened structure. That is called a lamina. If the petiole is bearing only one single large lamina, then the leaf is said to be what is that, simple. For example, in this everything is simple leaf only. Now this is the stalk of the leaf. Now petiole. The petiole is bearing one lamina. This is the petiole, one lamina. So these are all simple leaves. Even here also. Now this is the stalk. One lamina is present. This is a simple leaf. Like that, all are called a simple leaf. That means one petiole is bearing a single green flattened large lamina. The second point, lamina is entire. That means the lamina is completely larger in size and it is not further divided. It is called the entire. Entire means not divided, undivided. The third point is a pair of stipules found on either side of the leaf base. Already about the structure of a leaf I told you, that is a leaf base. Now at the bottom of the leaf, the part of the leaf which is touching the stem is called a leaf base. On either side of the leaf base, two green small projections you can find. They are called stipules. So a pair of stipules are found on either side of the leaf base. That is the condition for simple leaf. Now we are coming to compound leaf. Okay, we are coming to compound leaf. Even the pictures and all we will study later. The lamina is divided into leaflets. For example, one plant is having the stalk of the leaf. There is petiole is there, single petiole. But after that we are expecting one green lamina, big lamina. But that lamina is divided into small lobes, small green leaf-like structures. Now each small green leaf-like structure is called leaflet. The number of leaflet may be 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 like that. So it may be any number. So the lamina, the green, single green flattened lamina is divided into a number of small divisions called leaflets. So the presence of leaflets is a character for compound leaf. Leaflets are arranged on the rachis. Then where the leaflets are arranged? Now the petiole is bearing small stalks. Okay, small stalks. The stalk is called rachis. On the rachis, the leaflets are arranged. The leaflets are not arranged on the petiole. They are not arranged on the petiole. They are arranged on the special structures called rachis. In the next diagram, I will explain about it. Stipules are absent. Normally, in the compound leaf, the stipules are absent. I already told you what is the meaning of stipules. It is having stalk called the petiole. But at the bottom of the petiole, we are expecting the stipules may be present, but at the base of the leaflet is having small stalk, but at the base of the leaflet, stipules will not be present. Otherwise, we may get confusion. Now, whether that leaf, small leaf, what division is there? The leaflet is a leaf or leaflet. So, at the stalk of the leaflet, at the base of the stalk of the leaflet, stipules will not be present. Stipules are absent at the base of the leaflets. There are two types of compound leaf. Pinnately compound and palmately compound. So I already told you, pinnately means the leaflets are arranged on either side. Palmately means the leaflets are arranged like palm and finger at one common place. Now the details of this compound leaf we will see later. Now we are going to see pinnately compound leaf. I already told you the leaflets are on either side of the rachis. Now we again. The rachis bears a number of leaflets on either side. Okay, both the sides. That is called a pinnately. Leaflets are arranged either alternatively or opposite manner. Either alternatively. I already told you, one leaflet on this side, one above, next one alternate like that. Or it may be opposite. Now everywhere in the diagram, everything is opposite. That we will see. We are going to take different types of pinnately compound leaf. In the picture, if you take 5 pictures are there. So 5 different types we are going to study. The first one is unipinnate. Otherwise, we can say unipinnately compound leaf. Now, what is the meaning of uni? Single, pinnate. Now, this is the main stem. Okay, this is the main stem. Now, the main stem is bearing one petiole. Now, this is a small petiole. Now, here one large lamina we are expecting for simple leaf, but it is not there. But after the petiole, one long central axis is present. Now, petiole is different, but after that one long central axis is present. That axis is called a rachis. Okay, that is called what? Rachis. Now, this is a central axis. Leaflets are arranged on either side in pairs. Now, see that? First pair, second pair like that, they are arranged, leaflets. But all the leaflets together we can call as one lamina. But the lamina is divided into a number of lobes. Each lobe is called a leaflet. So the leaflets are arranged on either side of the lamina. That is called a unipinnate. Now, in that unipinnate, it is called a peripinnate. In the unipinnate itself, it is called a peripinnate. What is the meaning of peripinnate? Now, see that first pair, second pair, third, fourth, like that, any number of pair can be there. But the tip of the rachis is bearing two leaflets. That is called a peripinnate. Don't bother about the rest of the region. At the tip of the rachis, a pair of leaflets will be present. It is called a peripinnate compound leaf. Imperipinnate compound leaf, that is Azadirachta. Azadirachta is nothing but neem. If you take the neem tree, this is the stalk of the leaf. Okay, now petiole. After that, rachis is there. Now paired leaves will be present on either side. That is pinnate. But near the tip or at the tip of the rachis, only one lamina or leaflet will be present. Only one. Here it will not be present a pair like this. Single one will be there. That is called the imparipinnately compound. Example, what is that? Neem. The next one, bipinnately compound leaf. Okay, the next one is bipinnately compound leaf. Now, what is the meaning of bipinnately compound leaf? Actually, first unipinnate is over. Now, we are coming to bipinnate. Now, in the name itself, we can understand what is that bipinnate. Now, for example, this is the main stem. I am taking this diagram C. Okay. Now, what is actually this bipinnate you take? This is the main stem. Here one stalk will be present, very short stalk, that is petiole. After the petiole, there is a main, what is that, rachis, one main rachis is there. But actually in this, from the main rachis, leaflets will be arranged. But here, leaflets will not be there. The main rachis is further divided into a number of branches. So they are called the second branching. Okay, rachis is the first branch. After that, so many side branches will be arising. These branches of rachis we can call as secondary rachi. Okay, secondary rachi. So secondary, second bipinnate. Then on each secondary rachis, the leaflets are arranged on either side. The leaflets are arranged on either side. This is called bipinnately. What is the meaning of bi? Primary rachis will be there, which is further divided into branches. The branches are called a secondary rachi. Over that, the leaflets will be present. That is called a bipinnate. Example for this is Caesalpinia. Then we are coming to the tripinnate. Okay, we are coming to the next one, tripinnate. Actually, this is the best example. Moringa. Moringa means the drumstick plant. But actually, the diagram what is given is continuation of this. Actually, here if you take, there is a stem, and also that from that one leaf is arising. That leaf is what is the tripinnately compound. First petiole will be there. The diagram is not having that. That petiole is bearing main rachis. Okay, the petiole that is called the primary rachis. From that secondary branches will be there. Now this is the secondary branch. Now just like that, what is there here? This is the secondary. So from secondary it is taken. Secondary rachis it is called. Only one we are taking. The secondary rachis is further divided into branches. So these branches are called, see that, here one branch is coming, here next to one branch, next like that. Now these branches are called tertiary rachi. Tertiary rachi. So because of the three branchings, we are calling it as a tripinnate. Then on the tertiary branch rachis, we can find the leaflets arranged on either side. Here one leaflet, here one leaflet. That is drumstick leaves, we can say. It is a tertiary. So petiole is there. It is having one main rachis. The main rachis is called the primary. Only one primary. Then it is having branch called a secondary. Secondary is further divided into a number of branches called the tertiary branches. Over the tertiary branches, leaflets are arranged. Then we are coming to the last one. That is a decompound. Now they are not giving appearance like compound. Decompound. Now we will take what is the meaning of decompound. Now this is the rachis. Only one rachis is there. Some divisions will be there. But the leaf lamina is divided into small lobes. We cannot say leaflets properly. If the leaflets are not clearly separated, then it is called a decompound. Leaflets are not. But if here and all, if you take leaflets are clearly separated, they are giving appearance like a single leaf. Okay, but leaflets they are. But here, if you take leaflet, where the leaflet is starting, where it is ending, we don't know, because all are fused. Okay, that means they are not separated properly. That type of leaflets we can call as decompound. Example, coriandrum. Okay, it is also in the vegetable shop, this coriandrum leaf which will be available. Now we are coming to palmately compound leaf. That means the leaflets are arising from the common region of the rachis. That is called the palmately, palm and a finger like. Now the rachis and the leaflets are arranged like palm and fingers. Just like palm and fingers, they will be. Now the palm is the tip of the rachis, fingers are the leaflets. So rachis is at the tip of the petiole. The rachis, always the petiole is there, the petiole is having continuation, that is called a rachis. So the rachis is at the tip of the petiole. Now we are taking this. What are the different types of palmately compound we are taking? Unifoliate. For example, what is this meaning of unifoliate we have to take? Now the stem will be there, petiole will be there, only one main rachis. That main rachis is bearing only one leaflet. The leaflet number is only one. That is called that is what? Unifoliate. Foliate means leaflet. Uni means single. So the rachis is bearing only one leaflet, no other leaflets, only one. That is called a uni. Bifoliate. Bifoliate means the tip of the rachis is bearing two leaves. Now you see that the one rachis is present here, at the tip two leaves will be there. Another one rachis, sorry, here one rachis, two leaves will be there. Like that, two leaflets, not leaves, two leaflets will be there. That is called a bifoliate. Example, Zornia. Next, trifoliate, three leaflets will be there. This is the rachis. It is the tip of the rachis. In the tip of the rachis, three leaflets will be present. That is called a trifoliate. Quadrifoliate, one more name also there, tetrafoliate, quadrifoliate. In the quadrifoliate, at the tip of the rachis, four leaflets will be present. Okay, that is called a quadrifoliate. Example, Paris. The last one is multifoliate. Multifoliate means many leaflets will be there at the tip of the rachis. Here one rachis is coming up. Now this is the tip of the rachis. See that many leaflets will be present. That is called a multifoliate. Example, Bombax.